Okay, so this is my map. And the three scriptures that I chose and I put them under is who am I and what motivates me. And I did Matthew 5:14-16, where it says, like, ye are the light of the world. So being a light to the children while you're teaching, because they want to feel like it's a safe place while they're in school. The next question I did is, what is my work as learner and teacher? And I put to be anxiously engaged in a good cause, so D&C 58:27. Because if you're engaged in being in the school, then obviously the students are going to want to be engaged in being at the school as well. I also put D&C 93:40, where it says to teach the children in light and truth, because it's important to have them feel successful in the schools and feel like they can do whatever they can to reach that definition of success for themselves. The questions that I really answered this time were, how do I learn? And I put the Haberman's good teaching methods, and I put a few that I really liked about, like, involving them to redo and polish their work, reflecting on their own lives and how they can come to believe it, explanation of human differences, and then issues like vital concerns that they have. I thought those were really important to have because they were, they taught me how I can teach others. I also put more things into my definition of multicultural education. And one of those is involving every student so they feel loved and wanted, no matter what their differences are from others inside or outside of the classroom. I want them to feel like they can do whatever they want that makes them feel connected to others. So that would go underneath what is worth teaching. And the last one that I did is, how do I view and magnify those I teach? And I connected it to another question of, how do I meet the needs of all children, especially those that are most different? And so just a couple of things that I put is, like, being aware and updated on topics of the world and their culture, like teaching differences that don't define us, and then to be a peacemaker in the classroom, because it's important for us to all know that we're children of God and that although we have differences, we're all similar in the same way.
Keep going.
Keep going?
You only got like 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
For real? Okay. Let's see. I talked a lot about being a culturally relevant teacher. So to be aware of, like, everyone's differences, making sure that you're finding similarities within others, as well as noticing their differences. And I expounded a little bit more on deficit theories to help me understand, like, what I don't want to have in my classroom. So stereotype threats, I put, like, we often let our ideas of certain cultures and countries overshadow the reality of them and their abilities. So I think it's important for us to understand different cultures and to not just think of, like, the stereotypical things with them. So, like, if you thought of, like, Hispanics and, like, saying, like, oh, like, they all work so much and so they are not very good at school or whatever, like, that's something that you don't want to do, because that's you're not really interested in learning who the child is because you've already stereotyped them. And then institutional discrimination, just discrimination based on, like, their institution, where they went to school, how they learned. I think it's important for us to realize, like, that our differences make us unique in a good way, not necessarily a bad way. And so doesn't matter what kind of school you went to, doesn't matter, like, what kind of education you got, as long as you feel successful in your life, that's all that matters. Let's see. Did applications of CRT, so getting immersed with the students, taking time to learn about people and different cultures, learning about their school, like the school and its difficulties, and, like, getting away from the deficit theories like we talked about earlier. and then providing tools in the classroom that help kids to become more culturally educated.
Good job.